Habit 4, think win-win. This is a critical habit of one of the 7 habits of highly effective salespeople. And we tend to overlook this because in sales, when we're growing up, we think we should be winners and everyone else is on their own to become winners. And there's 2 types of people in the world, winners and losers. And if you saw the Jimmy Kimmel skit on the on the Donald Trump book, he does a great skit on this. He makes fun of it, but in business, we can't look this way. When we grow up, we play sports, and there's a winner and a loser. And that's okay. And in certain situations, there are winners and losers, political elections, and that's the nature. But if you're in sales, you can't have winners and losers. It's much more like a friendship or any type of interpersonal relationship, where if the other person loses, you're going to lose eventually. And it's the essential karma characteristic of life, where if both people aren't winning, both people are losing. But in business, what do we try and do? Ideally, we like to be a vending machine. We don't even want people involved other than the minimum necessary to pay the money and get the little treat, and they move on with their lives. But in business, especially as deals get bigger, we have to find a win-win. It is our responsibility to find it, because if we don't get it, eventually something falls apart. We can focus on the things that we want. The other person's responsible for focusing on what they want. But until you get this intersection, this overlapping of these wants, you don't get a win-win. But something magical happens once you do. Once you get into this zone of win-win, you start to work together cooperatively, collaboratively, to create something bigger than what you sell and what they buy. The outcome becomes bigger and stronger, and it creates this synergy where these people are recommending you, they're buying more than you can produce, and it really becomes magical. But you, as a salesperson, have to work in this direction, because the deal typically doesn't start out win-win. Typically, we're in a lose situation for a while. Then the customer's in a lose situation for a while until they get the benefit of your product, the return, the promise that was made. And if it's not accomplished, it doesn't become win-win. So we have to work together. We have to push into this intersection of wants and needs to create the win-win. We have to have courage, because it's not natural. The natural is win-lose or lose-lose. This is what happens naturally. Everybody's out for themselves. Everybody gets the minimum that they need. But it's not until we come together, where we become interdependent, that we create something that is really win-win. So we have to have the courage to push and to pull people into this, to face our fears and push beyond them, to articulate the real value that we're bringing, to talk to people that we're not comfortable with. This takes courage. It also takes something else that we're not taught. It takes consideration. We have to be considerate and find out what the other person really needs, and how do we deliver it for them. So it's this balance of courage and consideration that moves us into a win-win situation and allows us to really create something magical with our customers. So when we're selling, we have to think win-win. The magic term when you want it is just to say, I want a win-win situation. What would get that for you? And it opens up a dialogue. It opens up a discussion, an interaction that will move you towards that. If this makes sense and is aligned with what you're selling, check out the podcast, The Brutal Truth About Sales and Selling, on iTunes and Stitcher. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.